Good morning. Welcome to the wake up call. How's everyone feeling out of 10?
Out of 10. Hey, you know what? This is my first day wearing a short sleeve shirt in like 5 months. So 10 out of 10.
That's seasonal depression's a real
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
especially in Ohio.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
when I lived in Cleveland, it snowed in October, and then you didn't see the ground again until like April.
Yeah. Cleveland's a different beast. That's for sure.
If you're new here, myself and Alex, we go over the cryptocurrency news analysis and our weird takes. So with that, we'll start off Alex with his weird takes.
All right. Weird take. I'm looking at the VIX right now. And so I want to
That's
start out. What? Yeah.
that's so funny. I have the VIX. We did not talk about. Sometimes we talk about what we're going to talk about. We
Yeah.
did not talk about it before the stream, and I have the exact same thing pulled up right now.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Hey, when you see the VIX get this elevated, there's one word that should enter your mind, and that word is buy.
Yes.
B-U-Y, not B-Y-E. Buy. And so this morning before I went live, I opened a long on Bitcoin. I had a short opened earlier this week when Bitcoin got up to 74,000. I had a short open on Ethereum. That's closed. I am now just short term. Let's just talk short term. I'm long, and not only did I buy open a long on Bitcoin, I bought some stocks. I bought some Microsoft. Let me actually, I know this is crypto, but I want to pull up the Microsoft chart because there's just something really important about stocks that if it gets to this level, you buy. Okay. And that level is the 200-week moving average. Microsoft got to the 200-week moving average. That was last week. And so I bought some today. I didn't buy it perfectly on time. This rarely ever happens. It's just when it happens, you buy. Okay. So that's especially true for stocks. It's obviously true for crypto, for Bitcoin at least.
I think it's true for Bitcoin too. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, the 200-week moving average is such a significant level, which is I think Devin and I we have different perspectives as to where we're going now. I'm sorry to say I'm still of the mindset with Bitcoin that we will make our way down to the 200-week moving average. That's at 58,500 and rising. The rising is the key word. I think we're going to touch it at some point. The big deal here is just when and how long will it take. It's a great time to buy, guys. I'm still of a mindset that it's a great time to buy. I know a lot of people are calling for Bitcoin to go to the 40s. I don't think so. I do think the upper 50s, maybe mid 50s, something like that. I just want to point out again, RSI, last time Bitcoin's RSI got this low was June of 2022. That's when altcoins, the total altcoin market cap bottomed. And so altcoins bottomed in June, Bitcoin bottomed in November. So I am wondering, I am expecting I'm not, I have not. The answer to that question, KP, he was in my live stream yesterday. No, I have not yet. So the question that I'm wondering is, do we repeat 2022? Do we repeat 2018? Is it possible that we repeat 2014 to 2015, or is it some kind of mix? In 2018, when the RSI got this low, that was the bottom. That was it. December of 2018. In June of 2022, when RSI got this low, it was not the bottom. It was a great time to buy. This is on the weekly, by the way. I forgot to mention that on the weekly chart. We did bottom in November, and RSI put in a higher low. And then that was the bottom. It gave us a very nice bullish divergence. In 2014, my Bitcoin chart doesn't go back as far as 2014, never mind. But Bitcoin just hung around the 200-week moving average for like an incredibly long time, like 8 or 9 months. So right now, I am of the mindset, and I'm sure, Devin, you're going to provide a much more detailed analysis as to maybe a different point of view. But I am of the mindset that we are going to see some kind of bullish divergence form with a lower low in Bitcoin's price, but a higher low in Bitcoin's RSI, weekly RSI. And if that's the case, it's still going to take a month, 2 months, something like that. It's not going to happen right away. So the next month, 2 months, it makes sense to me for us to be grinding higher, to make moves. up to some of these weekly moving averages here, and especially the 200-day moving average. I mean, in 2022, that was a very key level of resistance. If we break through that, which it's coming down hard right now, it's at $95,000. If we break through that, I'm a bull. I'm just the bottom. The 61K was the bottom. I'm a bull. It's game on. Peak in fourth quarter of this year. I'm on that train. I'm not on that train right now, but we break through anytime soon of the 200-day moving average, then yeah, I think we'll hit a new all-time high in 2026.
So what is that number right now?
Mid 90s, 95,000, but it's coming down really fast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had more.
Nope, I'm done.
Before I hijack. It looks weird. By the way, if you're watching on any other platform, whatever you do, don't leave TikTok and go watch us on any other platform. Whatever you do, don't do that. But we are experimenting with a dual setup here where it's vertical or horizontal. So let us know in the comments how that looks, if you can see any difference or not. But yeah, I have the VIX as well. And let me just say to Bitcoin before I talk about the VIX, you already covered the VIX. I don't really need to say anything about that. But anytime we get to these levels here, this is when things get spicy, especially when you get above 30. Like the last time we rocketed past 30 was April 7th, 2025. That was the very best time you could have bought for the entire year of 2025. And then the time before that was the Japan rate cut fiasco. So if you get above 30, like a major event is happening and it's a major buying opportunity that you won't see again for, at least probably a year, honestly. Like we're coming up on, the last time it happened was April. Like we're coming into April right now. It was 11 months ago. So when you see stuff like that, like you get maybe one a year where you get, just crazy price action like that. As far as Bitcoin goes, like to me, I agree with what you're saying, like perfectly reasonable. It's just potato. We're near enough the 200-week moving average where it just doesn't matter to me. I am still 10 days ago, I started DCAing 1% daily. I said if we get an event that I would accelerate it. I thought that the war in Iran was close enough to an event, especially the timing that it happened 2 days before the lunar eclipse. I thought that was definitely in our window. That I was like, weird stuff happens around this time frame. So I thought that was good enough. I accelerated it to 3% daily. And I basically plan to be 100% in by April 1st. Whether we sweep the low or not, I'm perfectly, like you said, 58, 55. Like I think that is super reasonable. I just don't care. Like we're just close enough where it just doesn't matter to me. And I would give it about a 40% chance of that happening right now. But I think that if we do sweep the lows, but I think it's going to be quick if it does. But I'm still in the mindset. I think XRP, Ethereum, I think they bottomed. 1741. I think that was it for Ethereum. I think that they have bottom. I'm more open-minded to Bitcoin sweeping the lows than those. But I think that as far as from a technical perspective of how oversold we are on the weekly, how oversold we got in the MACD, we're seeing things cool on the weekly MACD. We're seeing things about to flip bullish on the 5-day MACD. We have just flipped bullish on the 3-day MACD. We have an insane amount of volume. Look at this volume on the 3-day. This is the highest volume. We exceeded the February. So this is crazy. I just now noticed this. Look at this. Okay, so it's not like that on the daily, but on the 3-day, highest volume since we took off back in November of 2024. On the 3 days. So volume is accelerating. We're getting crosses to the upside after being extreme levels of oversold. We're in the pits of despair. Like all the technical stipulations to me have been met. And it's just the question is like, are we going to get one more sweep or not? Like, I just don't really care at this point. I put this out yesterday. I talked about, so this is the 5-hour chart now that I'm looking at. And we basically, what you'll find when you look at this stuff enough, every single time frame, the 200 and the 100 are the biggest they really matter. I think, the bigger time frame you go, like on the weekly, it matters the most, and the daily matters a lot as well. But even on the smaller time frames, you will see support and resistance at the 200. And I called this out yesterday on my video that I thought that we would either get a false breakout above it and then back test, or we would get rejected right here. And I made the case, like, when you're sloping down, like at a steep slope like this, generally it takes 2 or 3 times of testing it before you can get above it. And I made the case like, hey, the one right here was the 100 moving average. Like, it was sloping down too far, and it really needs to kind of flatten out before you can clear it. We came up to it, got rejected, put in a higher low, came up to it, rejected again, higher low, came up above it, back tested as support before then testing the 200. So, I made the case like, hey, this is a really likely scenario here. And this would be super, super bullish if we just back test the 100 as support. And then, maybe we come up and get rejected, flatten this 200 moving average out on the 5 hour before finally breaking above it and then putting in our higher highs and higher lows. If we've already bottomed, I think that that's what it's going to look like. If we haven't, if we're going to get like some crazy event, I think it's going to be probably today, tomorrow, honestly, with the way that the VIX looks like. If it's going to continue to rocket here, we would have some event that would likely sweep the lows. But it's like, if you don't have your limit orders in, I don't know how long we're going to be there. Someone asked me, am I going to shave my beard at 50K? Not only am I going to shave my beard, if we get a daily body close below 50K, high Kanashi candle below 50K, not only am I going to shave my beard, I'm going to shave my head, and I'm going to give away $500. So this scheduled October bottom that everyone's waiting for when we go below 50K, scheduled, when we're all just going to wait, and then we're all just going to DCA in at October at the bottom, and we're never going to be in red. Maybe you're right. Maybe retail is right, but I would say no. I have zero confidence that that's how it's going to play out. And I'm so confident that I'm going to give away $500 if it does play out that way. So,
yeah. Let me respond to somebody here. Just a comment that you might get a kick out of. It's great to be optimistic, but that's also what gets you wrecked. Good luck. Guys, Bitcoin's at $68,000. Like, okay, if it goes lower, let's say worst case scenario, Devin has to shave his head and give away $500 and shave his beard. Will there ever be a point where maybe if he were to buy today, or I were to buy today, that we would be in profit? Optimism is good in the bear market. You should be optimistic. Even if it goes down, then you should be even more optimistic. In the bull market, you should be more cautious.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree 100%. I think optimism is your friend in the bear market. Caution is your friend in the bull market. 100%. Could not agree more. We'll buy at 50K. Okay, sure. Or maybe you'll never buy.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, we'll buy at 12K. That was everyone
exactly.
in 2022.
100%. I hope that you're right. I really do. I hope that you're right, because I have my DCA on, and I'll be buying there as well. But like, here's the deal. That's what people said at 12K or 15K last time. They said, we'll buy at 12K. We'll buy at 10K. And guess what? 15 came, it went, it left, and that was the end of the rodeo. And guess what? Those people that were waiting for the day that never came, they never accumulated, and they bought at 40K, 50K, 70K, 100K. That's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, they bought much higher because like all throughout 2023, people were calling for Bitcoin to go to 12K. Bitcoin ranged for 200 days between $25,000 and $31,000, and people were still calling for it to go to 12K. If they're waiting for 12K, by the time they realized they were wrong, it would have been November or December of 2023 when Bitcoin was busting out, getting up to the 40s.
Someone said, LOL, 50K, everyone will be saying wait for 40, and at 40, everyone will be saying wait for 30. That's 100%. People just will wait for the day that never comes. Caution is your friend, and when things are rocking and rolling. and optimism is your friend when things are scary.
Yeah.
I DCA 250 a week into Bitcoin every day. It's under 70K. I think that's a great strategy, to be honest. I think
Sure.
70K, when we look back 6 months from now, 6 years from now, like I think we're going to look at 70K the same way we look at 22K.
I mean, it's the same deal. It's the previous cycle's all-time high. That was a great strategy in 2022, DCAing every day that it was under 20K, or I mean, you could even said higher than that.
25K, 30K. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, I mean, like we've had our disagreements about DCAing. I am 100% on board with DCAing right now. That
Yeah.
sounds great to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, and I understand, like, sometimes it's frustrating being a content creator where it's like all of our words are twisted.
Yeah.
And everything that we say can and will be used against us.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do need to be more clear with my wording. And it's like I'm wearing two different hats. Of the one hat is, I'm speaking for average people, not necessarily what I'm doing, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of average people, regular people, firefighters, truckers, teachers, moms, dads, whatever, they get too cute, and like you're the most susceptible to the emotional warfare, the emotional manipulation. Um, that is the apex predator, 100%. The very goat of trading, the best trader of all time, in my opinion, is Richard Wyckoff. That is the best. He is the goat, in my opinion. I think he's the greatest trader that ever lived. And he has this quote that I like to refer to. He says, all fluctuations in the market in all the various stocks should be studied as if they were the result of one man's operation. Let us call him the composite man, who in theory sits behind the scenes and manipulates stocks to your disadvantage if you do not understand the game as he plays it, and to your great profit if you do understand it. And so why do I say that? Is because I feel like if you're not super in tuned and you're not, really, you're not going to get emotionally intelligent. And I think in a lot of ways, you either have to be a sociopath or you have to have an insane amount of emotional discipline and intelligence to understand that the composite man is manipulating your emotions constantly. So when I speak towards DCAing, I'm really speaking against regular people, and I'm trying to protect them from being manipulated, because what will happen in theory is they will sell the top, buy the bottom. When things get scary, they're going to wait for a lower price, and then they're going to buy, and then they're going to wait for a higher price. But what actually happens is they sell the bottom and they buy the top because it's based off of emotions that's being manipulated. Now, take that jargon, take that preaching away. Now I'm speaking from a different hat of what I'm doing personally in my portfolio right now is DCA. So, I think I need to be more clear with what I'm saying and the words that I'm speaking as I'm saying it, because most of the time when I'm talking DCA, I'm talking for the average Joe. That's the best strategy because it takes the emotional warfare out of the game. And even if you were to DCA from the absolute top in 2021, that's when you started. If you would have bought $100 every single week, you're still in the profit. And I just think that that's a good strategy if you're not, super crazy about being intentional about understanding how this game is played. And I think that that's a very profitable strategy if you want to put, lower efforts. But what I'm saying now is different than that conversation. I'm DCAing right now in my personal portfolio.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I have nothing to add to that. All right, it's not financial advice, Rise and Thrive. I don't know if you're just trying to troll or something. Is somebody keeps on commenting, thank you. I'm thankful for all the financial advice. And I'm like, okay, all right. Thank you. Well, thank you for being so thankful.
Gratitude's a superpower.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be sad and grateful in the same moment. scientific impossibility. How low do you think Bitcoin will go? I think there's a 60% chance that 60,203 was it. If we're going to sweep it, I think it's somewhere between 58 and 55, which I think me and Alex agree on the number. But I think we disagree perhaps on the percentage of whether it's going to happen or not.
That's what I would say. Same deal. I would maybe say 60% that we would go to 58, 55. And
I have limit orders at 58K, so I hope it happens.
But I do agree with you. Now, I'm not so sure. I'm not as sure about Ethereum, but I'm fully convinced that XRP has bottomed.
See, I'm not so sure as XRP. I'm more 85%, but I am fully convinced that Ethereum has bottomed.
Wow. Okay.
Which I think people who've never seen me have to understand the context of that. It's like there is no bigger Ethereum hater than me. So if I think that it's bottomed, I think that that should speak something. It should say something.
How about you respond to this? Somebody is responding, is commenting 44 to 49K is a huge yearly target though. And then he added some emphasis. It's huge. So
huge. It's going to be huge. That's my response.
Okay. That's your response. Okay. All right.
Definitely. Someone said definitely hitting the low 50s. Definitely. Okay. I hope so. I hope so.
I mean, you guys, you could be right. All right. I'm not going to sit here and laugh at you and say you're dumb. But I just, it gives me flashbacks to 2022 when I remember going live at the end of 2022 and the masses were in agreement that we were going lower when we had already bottomed. And there were people, there was one guy in particular who sticks out to me. He was like, I promise you, we are going to $10,000 for Bitcoin. Not even 12,000, $10,000. And so I think about that guy often because if he was so sure about himself, it's like that quote, that Mark Twain quote from the beginning of The Big Short. You know, it's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. That's this guy. That's this guy in my head. I have no idea where he bought, but he was waiting. I'm sure he was waiting for 10K.
It happens every time. It's like a perverted greed that shows up.
Yeah.
Every single time it happens. It happened in April. What was the number? It was like 72K. Like, it's just like, I don't know. You just get to the point of, you know, and every time like war pops off, people think it's bad for Bitcoin, and it's like war is evil, but like Bitcoin always tends to respond positively because it's like fundamentally, where is that money coming from that they're printing to buy, you know, billions of dollars? It doesn't exist.
And I was ready for that. You know, this last weekend, Bitcoin got down to $63,000, and I was ready for that to be the moment where we would go under 60K. And I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that Bitcoin held up as well as it did. And here we are now on Friday. The VIX is elevated, and Bitcoin's at 68K. And it's like, man, you know, I mean, my stocks are bleeding. They've been bleeding for a few weeks here, and Bitcoin just this reminds me of like late April of 2025 when Bitcoin just started outperforming
the stock market.
Yeah. Things were still not looking amazing for the stock market, but Bitcoin just was stronger by the day. And I'm looking at, you know, the Bitcoin ETF flow is pretty encouraging. I haven't looked at this in a while. I just clicked on it during this live stream.
Here, let me pull up your screen.
Okay. I need to share it. You know, I mean, just there's red days and there's green days, but like the buy volume is now on the ETFs outweighing the Quendro. I'm just going to have to ask you to not be every comment. It just can't be like, I'm not going to be able to respond to you while I'm talking with Devin while we're responding to other comments, but like, it looks like the ETF flow that the sell-off, it's bottomed as far as like a local bottom right here, whenever that was, February of this year. So there's another positive with that. Anyway.
Yeah, my thing is, and I've been saying that I thought that February, that volume that came in, like I was pretty early on, like, man, the buy volume immediately after the sell volume, like that is such a huge sign that came in on what was that, the 5th and the 6th of February,
Yeah.
that I thought it was the spring. And to confirm it, when you look at all the history of Bitcoin springs, it's 7 days was the earliest I could find, and 64 days was the latest I could find. So if you put that in context, between 7 to 64 days, 64 days would be about the end of April. So let's see exactly.
You need to show your chart.
April 26th. Uh-oh. Or excuse me, April, what is that? April 11th? Let me show my chart. There we go. So April 11th, we want to reclaim this 85, 80K. And the fact that the war is heating up, stocks are coming down, oil is just going crazy, up 12% today, like it's some meme coin. And Bitcoin is putting in higher lows, and it's holding up really well. I think it tells us something. I think it tells us something. It doesn't mean that we're not going to sweep the lows. It certainly could happen, but like, I think that we are much, 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 much closer to the end than we are to like this. Oh, we're starting the bear market now.
Yeah.
See you in October or whatever. Like, people that are telling me, the people who are commenting on some of my videos, it's like, I'm not buying until October. And it's like, I believe you. I believe you. I think that you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
But what that means in practicality might mean something different than what you think it means.
You know that meme where that guy, like the guy stands up and he's like speaking, and it's supposed to signify that he's standing alone and everyone else. That's just I'm not tired of it. I'm just like, guys, I know if you believe that Bitcoin is going under 50K, again, you might be right, but you're just repeating what the masses are saying, man. And could you just try to have an original thought? If you look at charts and you do your analysis and you come to that conclusion based off of your own charting, like the guy I just muted on TikTok, it seems like he's done his own analysis. Cool. Every comment was him, so I muted him. Then cool, But if you're just, I think we both can make compelling cases as to why we're not going to the 40s, and it's not easy to stand us against the world. There's so few people who are saying the same thing, or just saying what we're saying.
Yeah, I think too. Like, even if it goes to the 50s, like, who cares?
Yeah.
6 years from now, what is the difference between 65K and 55K? Who cares? Like, it's just so insignificant in the grand scheme. And like, people have this tendency every time. I think you would agree with this. Like, people get way too cute near the bottom. If the bottom's not in, people get really cute. And they get so cute that they, screw themselves over. And I have no interest in being cute. I'm already married, so like, I'm not gonna be cute. Like, it's all good. Yearly FG, just like 2022. I don't know what you're saying, but the difference between 2022 and now is 2022 was a Shemitah. This is not a Shemitah. I don't think that there's going to be any purging. That's going to be reserved for 2028/2029, in my opinion. You think Bitcoin will go to 20K? I hope so, but I doubt it. Like, something would have to be broken in a way where something would be so catastrophic that if Bitcoin is at 20K, I imagine that Bitcoin being at 20K is the least of our problems.
If Bitcoin goes to 20K, why not lower than that? I mean, at that point, it's like, why can't it just put in its first ever lower low in a bear market bottom?
Just
If
go
it's
to
going
negative.
You go to negative. Yeah. Um, will you buy Bitcoin at 20K?
Nope. I
That's the
will.
question. Yeah, and I'm not asking you. Yeah, I'm asking the person who asked that question or who made that comment. Because like Bitcoin goes to 20K, there will be people calling for Bitcoin to go under 10K. And you know what? If Bitcoin goes to 20K, I might be one of those people. So good luck, but
I think if Bitcoin went to 20K, I think that there's less than a 0% chance, or near a 0% chance. But like, let's just live in the world of fantasy land and la la land for a minute. Um, if that were to happen, what event caused it? I need you to think about that, because World War III just
yeah.
popped off here. That's what I was told a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever the case may be. World War III just popped off, and Bitcoin couldn't even put in a lower low. So, what event is causing this to take place? And I suspect, if that's really the case, Bitcoin being at 20K is the least of our problems.
Yeah, I mean, I am trying to think through that. Would it be Coinbase collapsing? What's his name getting liquidated? Michael Saylor. I
And
don't
then
know.
what would have caused that? What would have caused Coinbase and Michael Saylor to get liquidated? Because it wouldn't just be isolated to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you get into this. This is what I feel about war too. Every time war pops off, it's like, I understand war is scary. Like, I know firsthand that war is scary. I've been there, done that, bought a T-shirt. War is evil. But you get to this place, as far as from a market standpoint goes, it's like it becomes a game of chicken where it doesn't matter anymore. It's like there's only so far you can escalate it to where it literally doesn't matter anyways, because there's no electricity after a certain point. There's no internet after a certain point, and none of it matters anyways. You're worried about feeding your family. You're not worried about the price of Bitcoin. So it's like either you buy at a certain level, or it doesn't matter anyways, because the world is different as we know it anyways.
Yeah.
How long
Sorry,
will the
nothing to
bear?
add. Go
How
ahead.
long will the bear market last? What's Ski's take on it? I think we will be in a noticeable uptrend by April. Or
Yeah,
energy, maybe not uptrend, but energy, like kind of early 2023, like a grueling up disbelief.
yeah. I think I'm with you on that. Maybe I would say second quarter. I'm thoroughly convinced we're so much closer to the end than people think. If it's not the end, if the end is still ahead of us, because who knows, maybe the end is behind us, but like if the end is ahead of us, I mean, this has been my playbook for years now. That the end that 2026 was going to look like a typical bear market, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yep.
And it's clear to me, looking at the charts, that we are ahead of schedule. All right, not looking at other people's arguments that, oh no, we're supposed to bottom in the fourth quarter, not looking at my emotions, like looking at the charts. We are ahead of schedule. And you know what? We were ahead of schedule in 2022 with altcoins.
Yep.
And with Bitcoin, at least on the RSI. But FTX collapsed, and we ended up putting in that lower low. So like we're actually, yeah, what do we call this? I mean, yeah, maybe we'll call it a 3.5 year cycle or something instead
Or
of a
7
4
year
year cycle. Or yeah, oh, there we go. There we go. Always.
It all comes back to that.
Yeah. So do we sell in 2028 or sell in 2029 and go away? What do we do, Devin?
Well, so it starts September of 2028.
Okay. All right. Guys, sell in September in 2028 and go away.
I mean, like my general thesis, like not being funny here, on a serious note, is that we will rock and roll into 2028.
Yeah.
That is my thesis. And I think that what everyone, I don't want to be like hopium here or anything like that, but it's just because it's going to be, I think will be very destructive. Like, I don't know if you've messed around with this Claude bot.
I've heard stuff.
It is insane. Um, the technology is rapidly advancing in a way that is not comprehensible to me. Like I
Yeah.
have no coding. Well, I have some coding experience now, but I had very little coding experience before 2024. And this thing is like you can set it up and it can literally search the internet while you're sleeping. It can think of tasks to do for you to move you closer to your goals. It can look at for a content creator, it can look at every single news event that happened while you were sleeping, send you a morning brief on the Telegram. It can tell you like here's 5 different hooks that you can use for this story or whatever the case may be.
Wow.
And that's just like one thing that it can do. It's actually insane if you dedicate a whole computer to it, what it's capable of, and it's almost like a little mini employee. And I say that to say 2028 to me, and I've said this since the time that you've known me, to me is the big one, or 2029 is the big one. And what causes that, the more that time goes on, the more it's like, whose jobs are not going to be taken by AI?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't did you read that article that went around a few weeks ago? That got like tens of millions of views on X talking about this guy who's like really in on AI. I'm guessing you haven't based off your lack of reaction.
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Um he described it as like these the AI capabilities, the paid ones at least. Like I use Claude and Grok as like a glorified search engine, basically, which is what most people do. But like the advanced ones that you could pay money for, um, those have capabilities of doing things of like reasoning and problem solving and troubleshooting that are very human things. And then another thing that I saw from recently was like a diagram showing the capability of AI versus what it's being used for right now. And what it's being used for right now is so small in comparison to its current capability. So we'll see, man. I think that there are going to be people who lose jobs who are surprised that they're losing their jobs because they're thinking that their position is untouchable.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a bummer here. Someone says,
Yeah,
"I'm an electrician. How do I keep up?" I think that the people who have real skills in the trades are going to be fine. But I'm not trying to be a bummer. But the point is, like, my thesis all along is that we would rock and roll like a roaring 20s into
yeah.
2029. And I've said all along that I don't know what's going to cause the big one. But the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, I don't know, maybe something happens here. Maybe like we just get pushed into this new world because, like, it's hard to even articulate how much more powerful that this Claude bot on its dedicated Mac Mini is compared to like a Chat GPT, but it's like it's not even the same thing. It's like the
Mm.
difference between what I know versus what ChatGPT knows. It's like it's not even in the same possibilities because it can access the internet, it can access your browsers, it can access your computer, it can create folders, it can think to do things for you while you're sleeping of like it'll just create a whole new workflow and a whole new system while you were sleeping, like organize, like it's insane. Like it's hard for me to even articulate how crazy it actually is, but it's like this stuff is ramping up to a degree that's it's hard to you can't even buy Mac Minis right now. Like they're just flying off the shelves because people are buying them. And I think that like there is going to be the top, a lot of people misuse it and they don't exploit its full power, but there's going to be the top 1% to figure out how to hire, buy 500 Mac Minis, and those are 500 employees that it's a one-time purchase,
So,
and
so
they're
why
just
why
select.
Mac Minis versus anything else?
I don't know the answer to that question because
Okay.
I've only just started messing with it, but that's what people are buying, and I think it's because it's so powerful and so small and so cheap.
Okay.
I think that's the answer.
Huh.
And I think a lot of people are on iPhone and it can like text you and it can
All right.
do all like the thing that I hate about Apple. slash like why I'm such a slave to Apple. Um, is like I know that it's not the best software, but it's so integrated with everything else that
Mhm.
they talk to each other. Like it has me locked in, and I hate it. But I think that that's probably part of it. Is like your computer can talk to your phone, can talk to your tablet, um, can talk to your email, all of that stuff.
I want to respond to a comment here from Crayon Dave. There are a number of great opportunities in stock, those where this fear of AI replacing jobs is misplaced. Companies like Experian are on heavy discount. So Dave is hitting on something that I wasn't quite thinking when I first read that comment, which is just like value investing, which something like Experian, yeah, that makes sense. What I was thinking, which is where I thought Dave was going, is like, all right, you saw Jack Dorsey, he laid off how many people from his company, and the stock shot up. Like a lot of these corporations are going to be much more productive and have um much less overhead.
Overhead, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll go up in value a decent amount. So
Yeah, and the war machine keeps turning.
yeah,
Politicians will not be taken. Yeah, probably.
yeah, they're safe.
Unfortunately. Yeah, we need Claude or ChatGPT or Claude bot to take over these politicians. Have you seen the man, this is like the thing that like really bothers me like on a personal level. But have you seen that video with the guy who's like he's uh he's the CEO at McDonald's or something like that, and he's just sitting there for like 15 minutes trying to eat his hamburger or
I've seen
whatever.
parodies. I've seen
Yeah,
parodies of
it's
it.
like yeah, well, it's like do one that's exaggerated now, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
sitting there and it just reminds me of like the politicians in war. It's like going to McDonald's, eating a hamburger. You're that CEO who's going to eat the hamburger. It's like you are so many levels disconnected from this actual product and from the actual cow and from the actual everything that happened in between there, like so far disconnected from it that it's not even, it's just you might as well be living on a different planet. And that's how I feel a lot of times with these politicians in war and like how disconnected they are to
Mhm.
reality. Anyways, I had to throw my anti-war machine in there. I don't care who the politician is. I don't like war. How about that? Um, red or blue? Aliens. Yeah,
Maybe that's what's gonna happen in 2028, aliens.
it could be. Honestly, I think that they're like trying to declassify some stuff. Uh, Ski, hopefully you're prepared to shave your head soon. Did I hesitate for a second the last time it happened?
Yeah,
I am never scared.
people bring that up like it's like this end of the world
I did it.
scenario.
I did it
Yeah.
live immediately. The second that the daily body closed below the number, I did it live the very next second. If you think for a
Oh,
second,
no.
if you think for a second I won't pay my debts, you were
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Dropping to 68, nice. Not to get too cute. That's funny. Institutions have to keep Bitcoin reasonable for their holders. Yeah, that's a good point. And I just think like we get to this point where it's like, my God, we've been on a downtrend for 5 consecutive months, 5 monthly closes in a row. Like, how oversold can we get? Like, sure, we can be oversold for a long time and keep going down. Sure, I got it. But it's
Yeah.
like we've been oversold for a minute now. We did not even get a relief rally. Like people want to compare 2022, 2021 to now, and it's like you take out the major factor that this is not the seventh year, and it's really revisionist history. And then also, if you want to say that that little rally we had from November to January was anywhere close to the rally that we had, from January of 2022 up into March, like it's nowhere close the percentage.
Yeah. That was a
I don't buy
50%
that for a
rise in
second.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I don't buy that for a second. Like it's so revisionist history. So what's that word where people are you just look at the very last thing that happened?
What, Monday morning quarterback, or you mean something else?
No, like when you're looking at you get in this trap of like you're looking at the last pattern and it's like this recency bias. Yeah, recency bias. Epstein files. Maybe you know, that's the thing too, like I kind of like is like whatever about it. Like it's you know, like it's something that we all knew forever, like these powerful people. But the thing is like the thing that I'm kind of proud about is like the public has not let that go to a point of like they keep putting pressure and they keep putting pressure and they keep putting pressure. Here's the thing is like nobody has been prosecuted. Like who was he trafficking everyone to? No one has went to jail yet. So maybe some powerful people actually, you know, go down and some companies go down because of it or something like that. I don't know.
I don't care. You want to? All right. I'll read a comment here. Since you guys are reading messages right now, have you thought about the fact that the bottom can just keep dropping? Sure. Yes. With the introduction of the Bitcoin ETFs, they can short it into the ground for as long as they want, then use all the short profits to put Bitcoin out of reach for the regular person. Sure.
Is that not happening now? Like, are people not clamoring that we're going lower right now? Like, what's the on-chain data of people that are in profit?
It's the average holder, MVRVZ score, if any of you want to look that up, the average holder of Bitcoin is like barely in profit. At bear market bottoms, they get negative usually. We haven't gotten negative yet. In my, you know, a move to the 200-week moving average would put us negative.
Well, how about Ethereum?
Yeah, I would assume the average Ethereum holder is down.
Yeah, like, are we not already there? Like, it's so close. Like, it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just we get to this point where it's like I just feel like we're getting too cute. King says I'm down 10K. Yeah, you hate to see it.
Sorry, I mean, guys. I'm sorry for you, King. I'm just going to remind you, and I'm not boasting. I'm just saying, Devin and I are not down. Like I won for this cycle in 2024. Everything after that was gravy. I did not have an amazing 2025, but like the reason why we won is because we bought at times like this.
Yes.
When everyone's screaming for it to go lower, and you know what? If they're right, fine. It's fine.
Even if so, like for my personal portfolio, silver really saved the day in 2025. And then I also sold XRP in 2025. That was the biggest thing that I took profit on. But even without that, like, even if you take those two things out of the equation, like, obviously my position wouldn't be awesome right now, but I would still be up significantly because of what you're saying. Like,
yeah,
we made most of our positions in 2022 and 2023.
Yeah.
Someone asked, is there a chance Bitcoin dominance? Any chance of Bitcoin dominance coming down with Bitcoin going to the 80s? I think that there's a good chance. I still think that Bitcoin dominance looks super weak, and it's been looking weak for a long time.
It's really tight. It's within a tight range. If you pull some Bollingers, like you'll see. I mean, usually when the Bollinger bands get that contracted, something explosive happens. I've noticed, like looking at Bitcoin dominance on the weekly chart, it's holding the 100-week EMA and getting rejected at the 50-week EMA. It's been doing that for almost 4 months now. No, wait. Sorry, let me share. Okay. It's been doing that really since August. So we're more than half a year of Bitcoin holding the 100-week EMA, getting rejected at the 50-week EMA. Bitcoin dominance. I think I said that. So I mean, like last week, Bitcoin dominance got to the 100-week EMA. This week it shot up, got rejected at the 50-week EMA. Wouldn't you know it? At some point, something's going to give because this is getting really tight.
When I'm looking at my chart on the SMA, the 100, it's like we've been holding the 100 as support.
Oh, yeah.
And it's flirting with death right now of like, we're coming back up. If you get rejected off the 100 here, you're going to go visit the 200. So
that's really interesting.
Because it's been riding the 100 the entire time, and then we lost it briefly coming back. It could reclaim this, and it could be a fake out, and you could put in a higher high or whatever. That's certainly possible. There's lots of, crazy stuff that happens. But if this gets rejected here and we roll over, like you're going to roll over pretty hard, like you said, the explosive move coming. And I think that Ethereum, XRP, I think they're going to outperform Bitcoin. And I think that Bitcoin is in an extreme value right now.
So I could see that. All right. Let's say that I'm right about Bitcoin going to the 50s. But what happens now? Like what happens right now is I'm a bull for the next few weeks here. And let's say Bitcoin does get up to 80. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ethereum and XRP outperformed Bitcoin. And then, if Bitcoin went down to the 50s, Ethereum and XRP would not put in new lows, but Bitcoin would.
Should be ETH was 1,400 11 months ago. Yeah, that's the thing too that I keep saying is when you compare Bitcoin, this is one of the reasons I'm so bullish right now too, is when you look at how Bitcoin behaved in 2022 versus Ethereum. Let me get a clean chart here. This will do. Let me get off. Hold on. Okay. So in 2022, and let's pull up Ethereum. We'll just look at the weekly chart. Let's clean this up just a wee tad here. Good enough. All right. Here's the thing that has me like really bullish is contrary to popular belief, Ethereum bottomed most of the time before Bitcoin. So during the Luna collapse, Bitcoin goes down to 18,000 and some change during the Luna collapse. That was it for Ethereum. Like that was the end for Ethereum. It never went lower ever. And then if you look from the wick low of the Luna collapse on Bitcoin, Luna collapse on Ethereum, FTX, Bitcoin goes like 18% lower. Ethereum was up 23% higher from that point. Okay. And then like, here's the thing that like no one is considering. No one is considering. What if this is it? Everyone's like, oh, one leg lower. What if this is the leg lower from April? Because Ethereum in April was all the way down to like, what did it get down to? 1,400, like you said. We'll just call 1,500. It's also 23% higher from the April low to right now. Bitcoin is also about the same percentage lower. So what if this isn't the bull market? What if this is just like an extended, it's so bullish because of the ETFs.
Yeah.
And
that's what Dave is saying in his comments here. So like, all right, if we didn't have the ETFs, we'd probably be back at 20K. I think we'd be a little higher than that, but we also wouldn't have gone anywhere near 100K for Bitcoin. I agree with that. I agree with that. And so there's something about what you're saying here that does make sense from that perspective of what if April of 2024 was the equivalent of June of 2022, right? And recent price action is the equivalent of November of 2022. Now, I'm not going to be. We'll see. I mean, that's a possibility.
That's why I think Ethereum has bottomed, because of this bullish divergence that's showing up when you look at
Yeah.
Bitcoin versus Ethereum. It's significantly higher than it was in April. And also, it never went into price discovery where Bitcoin did.
And why is that? It's because of the ETFs.
Right.
Like, I don't think Bitcoin would have done nearly as well as it did if it wasn't for the ETFs. And what have been people been saying this whole time with altcoins is that we've just been in a bear market since 2022, whereas Bitcoin had its bull run because of the ETFs. I mean, and other reasons. There's other factors that you could say the halving, but like Bitcoin had its bull run. I am convinced that Bitcoin under different economic conditions would have done much better than 126K.
Yeah. Listen, I'll buy that. We've been in a bear market the whole time for altcoins. And that's what
Yeah.
I really think. Like, it's going to be the roaring 20s of like what people expected in 2025. I think we're going to get into, and again, like I forgot to mention this point earlier when I started talking about hopium and all this and that, but like what we expected in 2025, I think we are going to be rocking and rolling into 2028 to that level, if not crazier.
All
Because
right. Let
if
me
you
let me respond to I know people's comments. So what you're saying, Devin, we're waiting until 2028 for the next bull run? Okay, go
no,
ahead.
no, we're not waiting until 2028. I think we're getting started like this month. Whether that means we sweep the lows, I don't care. Like, I just think that the next, call it 3 months, is going to look like January of 2023, February of 2023. Whether it happens like Alex thinks Q2, I said QT, uh, the second quarter, or if it happens now, and this was already it. We'll see. But I don't think I think it's irrelevant when we look back October, or not October, August of 2028.
Yeah. You guys have to have this as a possibility. I just I am willing, like, if you guys forced me, my life depended on it, and I'm hearing that it's like we're bottoming in Q4 of this year, or the bottom is behind us, or maybe a little ahead of us. Like, I would put my life on the line and say that it's not Q4 of this year.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just everyone. It's just I'm not trying to keep banging this drum, but I just want you to know that the pressure, the external pressure, I'm trying to block it out as much as I can, because I didn't do as good of a job blocking out external pressure in 2025 as I had hoped. I should have just stuck
Same.
with where I was, with what I was thinking. Yeah, you too, Devin. Yeah, and so now I'm trying to improve my own analysis by sticking with what I believe to be true, looking at these charts. But it's not easy because it's scheduled for a fourth quarter bottom.
Yeah. Alex is my witness. When we were at 74K, 78K, 80K in April, I had a target of 118,000.
Yes.
My plan was to sell a huge chunk of my Bitcoin at 118,000. I didn't do that. So, same thing happened to me. I got caught up in the nonsense and I deviated from my plan the same exact way. So, um, I planned it out. I feel like I had a great read on things, and then I deviated from my plan. I took a little bit of profit, but I did not sell what I initially planned to do because I too got caught up in the noise.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been wanting to tweet this out. Just a very little, short saying. 2025 was the year that the Bulls 2025 made Bulls look dumb. 2026, by the end of this year, is going to make Bears look dumb.
100%.
And a lot of those 2025 Bulls are now 2026 Bears, so they're going to look extra dumb. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
I 100% agree. And that's the thing, is like people have such a savior complex. It's like, check it out. I'm not the savior. I guarantee you. Like, I'm pretty good at this, but I'm not your savior. You know what I mean? If you look at me to the answer, like my Pentecostal pastor once said, then you can go to hell. because that's just the truth. Like I'm not that guy. He came a long time ago. It's not me. So like I'm not your savior. I'm not going to be anyone's savior. I'm never going to be the savior. People have this savior complex of like whoever's red hot at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's because they are a bull or a bear. And if they're a bear and they're red hot, it's because we've been in a bear trend. And then now all of a sudden this X person is now he's the savior and he's never going to get anything wrong. And it's like, and then guess what? He's going to be proven to be an idiot too. And then it's whoever the bull is. And he's had it all right all along. It's like, make your own thesis, make your own analysis, make your own investment plan, stick to your investment plan. I'm pretty good at this. Alex is pretty good at this, but guess what? We get things wrong too. And I'm not advocating to be your savior. That's not what I am. I'll never be that. So he came a long time ago. It's not me. All right, Alex.
All right. I think you read my mind.
I did. I heard it in the sigh. The breath. We have so much synergy. I can read his breath. All right, guys. That is going to be it for this time. Save us, Ski. I'm not the savior. All right. I'm not the savior. I put on pants one leg at a time, just like everybody. I'm a human being, just like everybody. I'm pretty good at this. I have a pretty good track record. Alex is pretty good at this. He has a pretty good track record. Check it out. We get things wrong too. And both of us are accountable when that happens. For the love of God, pay attention to people who around scary events. If they delete videos, that's a pretty good business model is call the top every single week and then delete all the videos that are wrong. And then just say, nana boo boo, stick your face in doo doo. Be wary of those individuals. Me and Alex are not these individuals. We'll never message you first. We're not the savior. That's going to be it for this time, though. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll never, ever, never message you first. I'm not going to ask you for money. Those are scammers. For the love of God, do not get scammed. If you want lifetime access to the Telegram, we're doing live trading in there. You can hit me in the DMs for that. I will message you back if you message me, but I will never message you first. Any closing thoughts, Alex?
Somebody messaging you first is from Pakistan or Kakistan or Smackistan.
Smackistan.
Yeah.
Not the Smackistan. The Rock's going to put a smackdown on Monday night. All right. Make sure you follow us everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at Yaboyskey, YABOYSKEY. I'm at Yaboyskey on Twitter. I'm at, which you can search Yaboyskey. Just make sure the handle says at Yaboyskey. That's my last name. Hashtag Polish. At Yaboyskey on YouTube. At Skis Crypto, at Yaboyskey on TikTok. And then Alex has the at World War Bitcoin.
It's back at World War Bitcoin at WWBTC5. I'm going to keep that account as well. World War Bitcoin on YouTube.
We're so back, baby.
We are so back.